Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Iris, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons about being a professional volleyball player. I can obviously only speak on my experience, but I will be talking about the general pros and cons of being a volleyball player. I've also had teammates here who have come from overseas as well, and I also have a lot of friends who play in different countries, so I can only generally speak about the experiences. Okay, let's talk about pro number one. You obviously get to be paid for what you love to do, which is amazing. You've been playing the sport for a long time, you love it, and the bonus is that you just get paid for it. A con to that is that it really depends on what country you're in, and obviously what they can project your skill level to be, or what they think you're worth in terms of money, so that's a con to that. Another pro is that I'm lucky enough to be on a team where I just love everyone. Like, everyone loves each other, and including the staff who works with us, and it's just the most family feeling environment I've ever been in on a team. And when you're a professional volleyball player, you don't really get to experience that all the time. I got really lucky with my team though. A con to that can be that it really depends on where you are, but I've heard of horror stories where management, coaches, teammates will treat players like poop. And it's not a good environment. So it's really rough when that happens. And honestly, I'm not too shocked because this is a job for us, and it very much becomes an individualistic based type of culture in general. But if you're lucky enough to be on a team like mine, then you'll feel welcome and you won't have that problem. Another pro, which is one of my favorite pros, honestly, is that you get to travel. You get to travel to beautiful places. You're in a different country, experiencing different things, and it's different from your home, obviously. And if you're here in the Philippines, we have so many different islands here, and it's truly amazing. Even though it's the same general thing, like there's a beautiful island, there's a beach, there's a sunset, there's a sunrise, there's sand, there's water, like it's still all different and it's in their own ways. A con to that is, although you get to travel to beautiful places, traffic is so bad here, especially in the main city, Manila. There's different parts to Manila, but Manila as a whole is just like, whoa, like traffic central. So yeah, even though you get to travel to these cool places, you always have to take into account time of traffic. Like, is it actually worth traveling to? Because some places can be, 2 hours away without traffic, but with traffic, it can take like 4 or 5 hours, sometimes 6 if you're driving. And if you're flying, you got to take into account time of travel to the airport and all that stuff. But it's not too much of a huge con to me unless I'm traveling on the weekend or whatever. If you do big time travel, or travel to, an island for several days, then it usually doesn't happen unless we're on off season, which is typical and normal. So it's not too much of a con for me. Another pro is the fan support here. There's such a huge fan and support base here for volleyball. I mean, in all sports in general, but basketball is huge here. There's so many supporters of athletics here. But for volleyball, there's 2 leagues here in the Philippines professionally, but you get a huge fan base for either league. And with my team specifically, we actually have a huge support system from our company. A lot of the employees came to the games, and they'd be in the stands with Motolite t-shirts and just making noise and would cheer us on, and it was really cool. So shout out to the fans of Motolite, because you guys are amazing and we love you. A con to even having a huge fan base is that there are so many internet warrior bashers here that will just bash you and bash your name and bash your team for no reason. Like, they don't know you, they don't think you're a human. So I've had a lot of things thrown at me, but it comes with the job, I guess, and you just learn to deal with it because you're not going to please everyone. So it has affected me, if I'm being honest, but it hasn't affected me to where I can't learn how to deal with it. So there you go. And it's just funny that these people, like, they literally don't know you, but they feel the need to judge your life, which is terrible. And people who judge you just suck. So there's that. Another pro to being a professional volleyball player is that you get to experience good, delicious food of that culture. And I mean, there's not much I can argue about that. Like, why not explore different cultures and see how they make food and taste the flavors of the country? It's so cool. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I love food. But a con to that can be, depending on what country you're in, healthier foods in terms of, like, I guess I should say foods that provide more micronutrients can be harder to find. For example, like, salads here are pretty expensive, and if I were to purchase like fruits, as in like strawberries are really expensive here. Like, a small basket like this big would be the equivalent of like maybe 15 to 20 US dollars, which is pretty expensive. So it can be hard to eat healthier here. One of the coolest pros about being a professional volleyball player, in the Philippines at least, is that services are so cheap here. Oh my gosh. You got food, you got travel, you have living expenses, which are pretty cheap depending on where you are in the city, or more affordable, I should say. Let me tell you, I can get a gel mani and regular pedicure with foot spa / foot massage and hand massage and all. I get the works for like a total of $30 to $40 with tip. $30 to $40 with tip, sorry. Are you kidding me? That's unheard of in the States. And massages, girl, massages and facials, oh my gosh. Before COVID, I would get facials for the equivalent of like 20 US dollars. What? With tip also. And, you know, massages are super cheap. You can get like an hour-and-a-half massage for $30. So thank you, Philippines, for being cheap on that. Another pro is that you get to play against and with some amazing volleyball players internationally. Like, when the foreigners, or they call it the imports here, from other countries come and play, you get to meet them, you get to connect, hang out with them, and it's super fun. And also, like, for me, I got to be part of the national team, and I got to travel internationally to another country while I'm playing for another country. Crazy, right? So I got to travel to Tianjin, China. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's where we went. And I got to play against some of the greatest players in the world. Oh my gosh. I mean, we got our butts kicked. Don't get me wrong. We got our butts handed too. But the experience, amazing. If I could, I'd do it all over again. I even got to watch some of the best players in the world. It was the Asian Women's Volleyball Championship, 2015. And we got to watch two of the best teams compete against each other. And it was fantastic in a gigantic arena. And like, you can't you can't unexperience that. Like it sticks with you. Honestly, at the end of the day, at the end of your career, you're gonna remember experiences and how cool it was. Like you're gonna care, but you're not gonna care too much about losing to so-and-so team. You're gonna remember that you traveled to another country, you got to play against some of the best players in the world, and it brings me joy whenever I think about it. And on top of that, you got to explore a bit of the country that you're in, and it's so amazing. Like you can't explain it. It's one of those things you can't really explain, but you feel great talking about it, and you want whoever you're talking to experience it for themselves. So if you ever get the chance to play professional volleyball, I'm talking to you. Like you're gonna experience something that not many people can literally experience. Like it's a whole different world. There's no con to experiencing an experience of a lifetime. That's all I gotta say. Besides losing, maybe. One of the cons that you can experience, but not everyone does experience this, is efficiency. People are angry here. In the Philippines, things are not very efficient here. It's whatever. I can't control it, obviously. Like, some places you go shopping at, there's a cash register. It's not like the computerized cash register. It's one of the, like, old, like, Barbie cash register type of cash registers, right? And on top of that, so they have someone at the cash register, then they have a next person handwriting receipts. Like literally, they handwrite everything you bought, and they do something with it. I don't know, for their records. And sometimes checking out takes a very long time. Being in a less efficient country will definitely teach you patience. So there's a small pro in there. You get to learn how to be patient and learn how to deal with things calmly before you lose your mind. Silver lining there. Did I use that correctly? Who knows? Okay, if my camera is in a different position or something, it's because it died from overheating and I had to replace the battery. Technology. Anyway, let's move into another con. If you're an elite athlete or like you play at an elite level already, you will know that you already have to sacrifice a lot of things. But when you get to professional level, you sacrifice more, honestly. You sacrifice a lot in terms of you miss out on small and big moments. It super sucks when you have to miss out on the big moments, for sure. And being away overseas, like, it takes a toll on your relationships, like relationships with your family, friends, loved ones, significant others, anyone, your pets, whoever it is. It takes a toll on your relationships, for sure. But the pro to this is that you're doing all of this in order to pursue your dream, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And, you know, it's hard for the people on the other end who don't get to see you. And as much as it's hard for you, like, you don't get to see them, you're out in a different country by yourself. You have to adapt to all these new changes, all of them, and you have to do that alone in terms of physically being alone, but it's really helpful when you have people who can help you. You make friends, you know, make new connections in that new country, they can help you out, but again, like, your home is back where your loved ones are, and it sucks. It can take its toll on you, for sure, and it has for me, and it's not easy whatsoever, but it's also not something that you can't learn how to deal with effectively and in a way that's going to help you grow as a person. And to add on to big moments for other people, You yourself don't get to have those big moments yet. You have to really plan around having big moments. For example, I'm a female playing overseas. I'm 29 years old. I don't have kids yet. Like, those things you really have to take into account. And it's not impossible to have kids and play professional and have your family. It's not impossible whatsoever. There are many athletes around the world who do that, and like, seriously, like, props to them. And I'm definitely not saying that you can't play, then have a kid, then come back and play again. Like, that's also been done so many times. That's just something that you have to think about as a pro athlete. You just have to ask yourself what you want in life, and I believe that if you want something, you're gonna make it work regardless of any situation. All right, here's like a personal edition type of pro. For me, I'm Filipino, if you didn't already know. I live in the Philippines, and I have lots of family here, tons of family here. This is where my parents are from. Most of their family is here, and it's pretty cool that I have family that can come support me at my games that I have here still. And it's cool to learn more about my culture and my family's roots, and just get to know people. And like, in a way, I feel like I'm home because I have family here. My teammates feel like family. My whole team feels like family to me, and I just have a lot of family, home type of vibes here. So it's a huge pro for me. Another con to playing overseas is that it can be a language barrier. In the Philippines, most people here speak English already, or Tagalog/English. So here it's fairly easy to communicate. I know basic Tagalog, so I am able to communicate very basically. Not very well, but as long as you know the root words, you'll survive here. Or like I said, like, most people speak English or can understand English, and it's cool. But if you're in a different country where they don't speak English, then you'll truly have to either have a translator with you the whole time, have a teammate who can speak English and translate, or you'll have to learn the language, or you just go about living life in that country not being able to speak the language. And just one last con in playing professional volleyball is that you don't get to do this forever. You can only do this until your body tells you that you're done, or until you make a different life choice or a different career path. So just keep that in mind. You don't get to do this forever, and the experience is what you make of it. All right, those are the pros and cons that I can think of. If any professional volleyball player is watching this, then let me know your experiences maybe, or what you think could be a pro or con, or both, in the comment section below. And now I'm going to move into like a section where I think can be a pro and a con at the same time, but this section, I guess, is all about perception. One of the things that can be a pro or con is that you're out of your comfort zone. My first year playing overseas, I did not like it at all. I wanted to come back home right away. I just had a very rough outlook on life. And I was younger, didn't know any better. But my second time, it was a very huge pro for me. I came back to the same place, obviously, and I learned how to deal with things better. I changed my mindset about it. And third, I still find myself out of my comfort zone in different situations, but I'm way more able to deal with situations and live life and experience life in a way that I truly want to experience life. So it was a con, and it's definitely a pro for me now. Something else that can be considered a pro or a con is the grind. And you athletes know what I'm talking about. It's the grind, it's the hours, the blood, sweat, and tears you put in the gym and outside of the gym. So you have weights, you have conditioning, you have to fuel your body in a way that it performs well, whatever that means to you. I'm not telling you what to eat, not a nutritionist, but you just have to figure out what fuels your body well enough to be able to go through 5 sets. And, you know, for me, I think about like, am I fueling my body enough to get me through 5 sets every match? Can I last a whole season going through 5 sets? And the older you get, it is really hard. Real talk, especially for women, like our bodies change a lot throughout, you know, womanhood. So there's also that. And yeah, it's just about the grind. It's about the hours you put in inside the gym, outside the gym, watching film, studying yourself, studying your opponents. Like, take college volleyball and times it by, you know, a big number. If I'm being honest, like, some days you walk in the gym and you're just nervous that you're about to have the hardest practice of your life. And most days for me are, okay, I got to get better at something. What am I going to get better at? And you have to remember your why, or you have to figure out what your why is along your journey. And the last thing that can be a pro and a con for me is living on your own. This is actually the first time I've ever lived on my own for this long. I've always either had family around me or roommates. I guess, am I an extroverted introvert or an introverted extrovert? Whatever the one is that, like, I love being by myself, but if I'm put in a social situation, I'll be fine. I love spending time by myself and just doing what I want to do, and it's not a bad thing. And I have teammates and friends who are like, I need someone around me, I need human contact, like, totally fine. But when you live on your own, it can be a pro or a con for whoever, and it's a huge pro for me. I love living on my own. So, yeah. So in conclusion, it's really about how you make your experience. I feel like people forget that you have to live life. Like, life is what you make of it, or like, there's no one who can tell you you can't do something because of so-and-so. Like, the only person that's really in control of what you want to and can do is you. It's how you want to live life. So you just have to figure out what makes life happy and great for you. But yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up with saying I'm so grateful for the life I get to live. If any other professional athletes overseas, doesn't matter if you're volleyball, whatever sport you play, if you want to leave your experiences down below, that would be so awesome. Alright guys, that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you in my next video. If you volley, I dig it.